Hi everyone, Steve Wyss here, joined by Kevin Harper as we continue our T20 World Cup match previews. We are coming to the end of the Group B campaign now. Very close group with all teams currently on 2 points each. And we're here to discuss Ireland versus West Indies first. But before that, a recap on Thursday's bets. It was just a very, very frustrating day, wasn't it, overall, Kev, with the match bets?
Yeah, I'm pissed off, to be honest, Steve. I feel like I deserve 4 winners and I only come away with 1. It's Sri Lanka weren't ruthless enough in finishing the Netherlands off, and 10 balls at the end of the Namibia bowling innings cost us another one. And I mean, I don't even know how the spinner didn't get his performance in. 2 balls went in his direction for a catch, which would have done it. And both times they landed a foot short of him. It was just one of those annoyingly frustrating days that I guess you're going to get with this format, but determined to put it right on Friday.
Yeah, honestly, and it costs Namibia as well, that final 2 overs. If they kept the score below what it should have been, we'd have cashed on that. But their own fault, they got knocked out basically there in the end, in my opinion. Very unlucky indeed. There was some good news with the UAE getting knocked out. Mohamed Wasim, as advised on the preview show for Group B, top UAE run scorer, and he cruised it. 93 runs in total, nearly 50 clear of his nearest rival. And that was a tasty price winner as well, Kev, for 3 units.
Yeah, biggest outright that we've tipped on the podcast so far. Obviously, there's still another outright preview to come. But right now, that's the biggest one that we've had. And yeah, anytime you can get a 17 to 10, 2.70 winner in the bank 5 days after the off, then you can't complain at that. And of course, had Namibia have won, we'd have had the Max O'Dowd bet in as well. But that'll fight for another day.
Right, okay, on to this match then. Ireland against West Indies. It's from Hobart. And, well, first of all, we've got to look at the venue conditions. And there's definitely a potential issue. Well, not so much for this game, for the second game. But Hobart is basically going to resemble Lancashire in the next week or so. I mean, look at the rain that's coming up here Saturday through to Wednesday. Don't know if there's any matches due there in that period, but if there is, it doesn't look good for them, does it? But this is the last nice day that Hobart is going to have for a while. It looks like, I mean, this is a 3 p.m. kickoff time in local time, and that should be okay. But if we look a bit later, then and we're going to do that in the second match, then rain might come up. For this game, it looks set dry.
Yeah, this game does look dry. I mean, it's the wrong way around for us, really, these 2 matches, isn't it? But yeah, we should get through here. I mean, as you can see, the rain's not due until 10 o'clock. We'll cover that in the other one. Hopefully, it holds off a bit longer.
Simple knockout match, this one, isn't it? Whoever wins gets in. And
yeah, no need to worry about net run rate or any of those calculations that they were going through on Thursday. This couldn't be any simpler. Win and you're in. Net run rate will decide who goes in which group.
And West Indies are the favourites to win this game. We'll start with them. They still haven't, for me, impressed that much, but they got what they had to do. They did what they had to do against Zimbabwe, especially a good bowling performance. Odds on 1.44. Is that a big price against a team like Ireland or not?
I mean, I think they'll win. I don't think it's a particularly big price. It's exactly the same price that Namibia were on Thursday, and they stunk the place out, didn't they? And I kind of suggested that the pressure of winning might be too much for them. I don't think that's going to be the case with the West Indies, purely because I don't think that they let things like that worry them. They're very carefree, play on their own merits sort of team, aren't they? But ultimately, this is a knockout game of cricket, so there's going to be some tension involved somewhere along the line. I think they win, Steve. As I've mentioned all throughout this podcast, I ain't a fan of Ireland, and but I'm more than happy to leave them at the price.
As for Ireland, they rebounded well against Scotland last time out, and it was the batting really that came to the party.
Yeah, I still weren't impressed with them though. I didn't think they looked particularly good with the ball. They dropped a couple of catches, which could have cost them. And really and truly, it was only one partnership that got them home. Curtis Camphor's having a really good tournament with the bat, and George Dockrell assisted him. Scotland just couldn't break that partnership. It was that partnership that threatened to get Ireland back in the game against Zimbabwe as well. So just seems to be all about them two for Ireland. And I'm not a fan of this Ireland side. I've said it too many times. They don't have enough bowling resources, and sooner or later, one of those two batsmen, if not both of them, are going to fail them.
Onto this venue then, and one thing we will say in terms of this show, it's the bookmakers are a bit slow in terms of bringing out lines and markets for this game. Possibly it could be because they're worried about rain. Maybe it's just because they're focusing on the main tournament group starting very soon. But I mean, I do know you would certainly like the idea of potentially boundary sixes here, Kev, if lines came out, or maybe some other things.
For the West Indies, I would, Steve. Yeah. This Ireland team is just set up to go the distance. You know, I mean, Raza took it the distance in the first game. A couple of Scotland batsmen took it the distance in the second game. Their fielding's not particularly crash hot either. It hasn't been in either of the games, has it? They dropped Raza quite early doors, and they dropped Jones, who scored a load of runs in the last game. So they've got a lot to live up to. The fact that this is a day game should help the West Indies in terms of everything about them. The ball's going to fly further in the heat and the hot weather. The pitch is going to be as fresh as it's going to be at any time of the day, etc., etc. And, you know, I just refuse to believe that in this group, the West Indies batting isn't going to go... it isn't going to come off once in the 3 games. So, yeah, if a line goes up between now and the time I write it up on my website, I will flag that bit up. But obviously, there aren't any at the time of recording. And like you quite rightly say, it may well be because the weather forecast, depending on where you look, is a bit dodgy.
Why haven't the West Indies batsmen fired as we expect them to? Even in terms of like sixes and boundaries, it just hasn't really happened for them.
Yeah, I think we expect too much anyway, to be honest. I think we're still all guilty of expecting this West Indies side to be the same as the West Indies side that contained Chris Gayle, Kyron Pollard, Andre Russell, etc., etc. But really and truly, they only did it in India, where the grounds are really small and the bounce is true and everything else. You know, when the World Cup went to sort of England, they were a non-entity, and this is just not that sort of side. You know, the two at the top, yes, they can hit a clean ball, but they seem to be shackled for some reason. They get their batting order all wrong as well. And really and truly, once Hetmeyer decided that he didn't fancy getting on the plane, it's only really Nicholas Pooran who's a genuine, goes right the way around the world playing franchise cricket and hits the ball a mile in this team. So it's got a lack of big hitters as a rule, but I mean, some of these players should be batting an awful lot better than they are.
Just one bet for this game, and we're going down an old faithful route here with the player performance market. Finally, his line has actually been raised by Bet365, but Jason Holder, again, hoping that he delivers for us here. It sounds like a bit of a revolving record, but Jason Holder, for anyone new on the show, what is to like about this cricketer?
Well, an awful lot, Steve. Yeah, we'll get the 3D klaxon back out again because that's what he is. I mean, again, so far in this tournament, he's taken 2 wickets in every game. If he takes 2 wickets in this game, hey presto, we've got this covered. But it's that island death bowling, Steve. I've mentioned it so many times. People probably getting bored of me mentioning it now, but it keeps on going the distance. And Jason Holder's probably going to be batting as close to the end of the innings as anyone else if everything goes to plan. So he could really catch fire with the bat. Even if he's batting earlier, it's not like there's a mystery spinner or anything else in the middle order. I mean, this Ireland side is set up to go the distance on this pitch. So he should score runs with the bat. I suppose the danger is that he doesn't bat. But I don't think that there's too much of a danger of that because West Indies are just so reckless with the bat that, you know, they'll eventually get out slogging anyway. So if he can get 18 with the bat, then we bring that down to only needed 1 wicket. The signs are that he'll still take 2 wickets. It's the pace and the bounce in this pitch, isn't it? Particularly the bounce, given how tall he is. And even Irish players aren't particularly grand at playing the bouncing ball. So, yeah, no, I fully expect him to cover this with the ball once again, actually, particularly at the times that he bowls as well. He tends to bowl an over in the power play and over in the middle when a team's really trying to get the slog on, and then at the end when they're obviously going hell for leather. So yeah, I fancy him to cover it with the ball, but he's got 2 other scoring methods, and he can take catches and he can score with the bat against a very, very, very weak bowling attack, with the exception of Little. Yeah, fill your boots on the over again.
Yeah, over 37.5 performance points for Jason Holder, 3 unit selection at Bet365. As a reminder, 1 point for a run, 10 points for a catch, 20 points for a wicket, and 25 for a stumping if you are ever betting in that performance market. We don't have any other picks for the game, but we are going to have a couple of suggestions in the top batsman market. And for Ireland here, Paul Stirling, once again, the favourite, but he doesn't seem to be firing at all. Curtis Camphor, you flagged him up in the before the Scotland game, and once again, he's a fairly, well, he's not such a big price anymore due to his exploits in the tournament. But 5-1, you could probably do worse than him.
You could, yeah. I think he bats 1 too low here. The one I'd be on this time, Steve, and I'll just make the point that I'm not taking any of these bets. We had a bad day on Thursday. I want to kind of get some money back before I start staking on these things again. The one I'd take, though, Harry Tector. He's just played in the Caribbean Premier League. That season finished 3 weeks ago. He'll have played against all of these bowlers in that league. 2 of them, Obed McCoy and Jason Holder, were his teammates at the Barbados Royals. So he'll have faced an awful lot of them in the nets. Often familiarity is a good thing in these things. Like I've mentioned it in one of the previous podcasts, these aren't bilateral series. This is a tournament thing where you play different players every game and you can't get used to them. So the fact that the players that all have already faced these bowlers before will have a comfort factor about them. He's the only one in this Ireland side who's got that. Yes, 1 or 2 might have come across 1 or 2 others during county cricket, but you can't buy valuable experience of having just played in their domestic league and been a teammate of 2 or 3 of the bowlers. So I'd go with him at 5-1. There were signs against Scotland that he was just coming to the party, and then just as he did, he got out. So if you're on that, hopefully he doesn't get out for you quite as quickly this time.
Top West Indies batsman, is this like getting a lottery ticket and just picking someone because it's just it seems like it could be anyone?
Well, I mean, it's like getting a lottery ticket because it's like a tombola, which way the batting order is going to be. I mean, Shamar Brooks came in at 6 or 7 in the last game. He top scored in the final of the semi-final of the Caribbean Premier League when he was batting at 3 for Jamaica. That's his best position. Evan Lewis batted at 3 in the last game. He's been an opener all of his life. So they need to sort this batting lineup out. For me, they need to drop Johnson Charles and open with the top 2 there, Lewis and Mayers. But whether that happens or not, I would take a chance on someone down the order in the hope that Josh Little sorts out the top order. And the one to go at, I mean, Rovman Powell absolutely mullered a 6 the other day, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? That was a big 6.
Absolutely smoked it. It cleared the bank and everything. So he's obviously hitting the ball well. There aren't that many West Indians who are hitting the ball well. I would have taken Odean Smith again, Steve, but 20-1. Obviously, nowhere near the
9
price
as well, didn't he?
Nowhere near the price we got the other day. These two teams played in an ODI series in the Caribbean at the start of the year. Ireland actually won that 2-1, and in one of those games, Odean Smith made 46 off about 15 balls. But you've just said he's batting at 9, so there's no value there. I'd go Rovman Powell. Chances are he's going to bat at 6. You might even get him at 5 if they drop a batter. And at 11-1, we know he can hit a big ball because we saw it in the last game.
Final recap then. There's one bet for this game. Jason Holder performance over 37.5 at Bet365 for 3 units. And final recap in terms of you expect the West Indies ultimately to win this match and get their place in the next phase.
I do. I'd be a lot more confident if they bat first, though, Steve. We saw on Thursday, didn't we? The 2 sides that batted first dominated the must-win games. So I'd be much more confident if they bat first, particularly if they can, put a score up. I wouldn't want to be on a chasing side. Scoreboard pressure is a big thing over the course of Friday.
As a reminder, follow us on all of those 4 Twitter handles. I was getting mixed up with some other socials there. And also check out Kev's website, kevsatsportsbets.com, in case there's some further added bets for this game closer to kickoff where the bookmakers offer better lines. But from this edition, it's goodbye from me. Best of luck with that pick, Kev, and we'll see you for the next match.
Cheers, Steve.